all your motivation of love and compassion and altruism, wanting to become fully awakened in order to be able to best benefit each and every living being. So this morning we talked about pride or arrogance. We also spoke about ignorance and anger. So the lion of pride, the elephant of ignorance, the fire of anger. Okay, the next verse is about the snake of jealousy. Yeah, good image, isn't it? The snake of jealousy. Lurking in its dark pit of ignorance, unable to bear the wealth and excellence of others, it swiftly injects them with its cruel poison. The snake of jealousy, please protect us from this danger. Okay, so jealousy is the mind that cannot endure the good qualities and happiness of other people. The jealousy is the mind that says they shouldn't be happy, they shouldn't have that opportunity, they shouldn't be able to accumulate that virtue. I should. Yeah. They should be deprived of all those good things, and instead they should all go to me. Okay? We've all been jealous at some time or another, haven't we? Yeah. We might get jealous, because a colleague gets a promotion that we wanted. We might be jealous because somebody that we want to be with is attracted to somebody else. We might be jealous, because somebody has more wealth than we do. We might be jealous because somebody at the Dharma Center can meditate longer than we can. We might be jealous because the Dharma teacher seems to pay more attention to somebody else than to us. We can get jealous of anything. Okay? So, jealousy lurking in its dark pit of ignorance. Okay? So what we said about ignorance, all those wrong views, all that obscuration, not knowing what to practice, what to avoid, what is virtue, what is non-virtue. So this dark pit of ignorance, okay? So jealousy's in there, nurtured by this dark pit, and it's unable to bear the wealth and excellence of others. Like I was saying, jealousy says, oh, they shouldn't have that wealth. They shouldn't have that opportunity. They shouldn't have those good things. They shouldn't have that virtue. Yeah, I should. It's really a horrible state of mind, isn't it? Isn't it? Because we just got done saying, may all sentient beings have happiness and its suffering, happiness and its causes, may they be free from suffering and its causes. And now jealousy is saying, no, I want that happiness, they can't have it. I deserve it more than they do. Ooh. Okay, and when we have jealousy, oh, it's so painful, isn't it? When I was a baby nun, also, I was so jealous of other Dharma practitioners. Oh, my teacher pays more attention to them than to me. It's not fair. I practice. I'm such a good nun. How come my teacher doesn't pay enough attention to me and gives all the attention to these other people? They shouldn't have it. I should. And then before I was ordained, it's like, I'm jealous of that other person. This guy's attracted to her and not to me. Yeah. I'm jealous because somebody else got the scholarship and I didn't. I'm jealous because na. You know, whatever. We can, like I said, we can get jealous of anything. Yeah. So lurking in its dark pit of ignorance, unable to bear the wealth and excellence of others. You know, it swiftly injects them with its cruel poison. Yeah? So when we're jealous, you know, we make all these remarks and we do all these kind of nasty things to other people, don't we? Yeah, to ruin their happiness, to destroy their happiness, because we can't bear it. Yeah, so we inject swiftly. We don't mess around when we're jealous. It's not like, okay, here's a little bit of meanness to you. It's like, you know, yeah. It's really this kind of violent wishing to destroy somebody in some ways. You know, it swiftly injects them with this cruel poison. The snake of jealousy, please protect us from this danger. Okay? You've been jealous before? Are you happy when you're jealous? No. Ooh, jealousy is just... It's really like having a snake inside. And, you know, it's like our heart is poisoned. And we're waiting to, you know, bite somebody the way a snake would bite somebody and you know, a rattlesnake would bite somebody and kill them. Or you know, another snake would surround its prey and then constrict them. Yeah, so we might, you know, become friends with somebody and surround them and then ruin their happiness because of jealousy. Oof. Yeah. So jealous people are not going to have many friends. Yeah. Because when we're jealous, it's like when we're angry, you know, people can't trust us. Because the basis of friendship is feeling that the other person is wishing for our own good. Yeah, don't you feel that? The basis for friendship is somebody else wishing for our good and our wishing for their good. So if we're jealous of somebody, now how is that person going to trust us? How are they going to be our friend? They would be foolish to be our friend because we're just going to poison them with our jealousy and compete with them and want to be victorious and not, you know, let go until we've won. So sometimes we have these habits, you know. We have to be right. Yeah. Do you ever feel that way? I'm right. I have to be right. I don't care what the situation is. At the end of the discussion, people have to acknowledge that I'm right because I am always right. Why am I always right? Because I would never think something stupid. Because I am too intelligent. Yeah. So there's arrogance in there. There's competition with others. There's jealousy, you know, because nobody else can be better than us. So we always have to be right. And we always have to have the last word. No matter what the discussion is, I have the last word. I'm right. No matter what the argument's about, I'm going to win it. Do you have that part in your heart somewhere? Oh, one person's nodding, and other people are kind of going like this. Did you have to point that out? Yeah. So we all have that part in us in some way or another. And some people stronger than others. And so we push and push and push in any kind of social situation until others, we have to win. They have to go along with us. And we're jealous of anybody else, if they go along with anybody else, because we are competing with the world and we have to be best. And if we're not, we are jealous. Okay? So, what's the antidote to jealousy? This kind of poisonous, snake-like mind. Well, as you'll notice with all of these different afflictions, the antidote is the exact opposite mental state, which means the antidote is the last thing in the world that you feel like thinking when you're stuck in that affliction. So when you're jealous, you can't endure others' wealth and excellence, the antidote is rejoicing at others' wealth and excellence, rejoicing at people's opportunities, rejoicing at their good qualities. Yeah. So that's the last thing in the world the jealous mind wants to do, is to rejoice at other people's fortune. But that's the antidote to jealousy. It's the only thing that's going to cure the jealousy. Yeah. Is to really deeply inside train our mind to say, it's wonderful that that person has that opportunity. It's wonderful that they're able to do that. I'm so happy they get the recognition and the promotion. I'm so happy they have somebody to love them. I'm so happy that they're rich and have honor and prestige. I'm so happy that they're talented and the world sees their talent. I'm so happy that the teacher rode in their car. I'm so happy that they're able to meditate well. Yeah. I'm so happy that, they're young and attractive, or whatever it is, to really, be glad. I'm so glad they have more realizations in the Dharma than I do. Okay? So really training the mind to be happy and rejoicing. And they say that the rejoicing is the lazy person's way to create good karma. Because you don't even have to do the virtuous action yourself. You just have to rejoice at it. Yeah. But there's a real power to rejoicing, because when we rejoice at other people's good qualities and wealth and opportunities, our own mind is joyful. And all this competition, this painful one-upsmanship, this painful striving, to be on top, to be right, to win, we release all of that. And instead we rejoice, So we have a happy mind, We again have joy, rejoice. Okay, so again, rejoicing, like all the other antidotes, we have to practice it on a daily basis. There's, you may have heard of the extraordinary aspiration of the prayer of Samantabhadra. It's in the Avatamsaka Sutra. It's chanted in the Tibetan tradition and also in the Chinese tradition. Yeah, a very beautiful prayer. And one of the verses in the first part of the prayer is about rejoicing at all the goodness there is in the world. Rejoicing at the virtue of others, rejoicing at the excellence. And it really makes the mind very, very happy. And it makes us appreciate the goodness in the world. In other words, not everything good has to belong to me and mine. So it's a very nice mind to rejoice. And it overcomes that snake of jealousy with its poison. The next verse is about wrong views. Roaming the fearful wilds of inferior practice and the barren wastes of absolutism and nihilism. They sack the towns and hermitages of benefit and bliss. The thieves of wrong views, please protect us from this danger. Okay, so wrong views here is compared to thieves. Yeah, do we trust thieves? No, because they take away what is valuable. So here, our own wrong views in our own mind stream take away what is valuable in our Dharma practice. And, you know, wrong views, you remember the 10 non-virtues? Yeah? What are the 10 non-virtues? What are the first 3? Abandon. What's your first precept? Killing. Stealing. And the first 3 that are done physically, killing, stealing, and unwise and unkind sexual behavior. Okay. Then there's 4 that are done verbally. Lying, creating disharmony with our speech, harsh words, idle talk. Okay. Then there's 3 done mentally. Coveting, ill will, and wrong views. Okay, so this last one of wrong views is the one here. So wrong views is so dangerous because if we have wrong views, then we do all the other 9 non-virtues. Because if you have the wrong view, if you're confused about what is virtuous and what isn't, then you engage in non-virtuous activities thinking that they're what you need to practice, and you shun virtuous activities because you think that you shouldn't, you know, that they're not part of the path. So wrong views are very, very dangerous. Yeah? For example, people who think animal sacrifice is good and pleasing to the gods, that's a wrong view, isn't it? And it leads them to killing. People who believe that if you martyr yourself in the name of religion, you will, you know, be born in heaven. That's an incredible wrong view because it leads them, again, to killing and stealing and harsh words and all sorts of conflict. Yeah? So wrong views is really, really dangerous. It's like thieves because it steals our virtue. Okay? So it roams the wilds of inferior practice. Yeah, that can, you know, can't discriminate virtue from non-virtue. And the barren wastes of absolutism and nihilism. So absolutism and nihilism are the 2 extremes. Sometimes they're called permanence and annihilation, or eternalism and nihilism. What it means is absolutism, or permanence, or eternalism, it means clinging to an independent self. We talked about this at the very beginning today, you know, thinking that there's a real solid me that we need to defend and protect. So that's absolutism. Nihilism is the other extreme that says, things don't really exist, there's no right, there's no wrong, you can do whatever you want. You know, our actions don't have any ethical ramifications. Yeah, right and wrong is only in the realm of conceptualization, and you want to abandon all conceptualization in your meditation. So for highly realized people, there's no right, there's no wrong, they don't create karma. That's really wrong views. Yeah. Really very severe wrong views that can lead people very much down, you know, wrong paths and into creating a lot of negativity. Okay? So they sack the towns and hermitages of benefit and bliss. Yeah? So in our practice, benefit, bliss, the joy that comes from practice, the benefit that comes from practicing generosity and renunciation and ethical conduct and love and compassion and equanimity and wisdom and concentration and all that benefit that comes from that, these thieves sack those towns and hermitages of benefit and bliss. They destroy our Dharma practice. Yeah? Just because we don't have the right view on the conventional level of what to practice and what to abandon, what is virtuous and what isn't, and regarding the ultimate nature, we don't have the correct view, so we think either things exist independently or they don't exist at all. Yeah, both of those extremes are wrong views. Okay? So, wrong views, big problem. And one of the biggest problems with wrong views is when we have them, we don't even realize that we have wrong views because we think that our views are correct. Right? Because whatever I think is correct. Because I'm me. Yeah. So even if I change my mind and think something different tomorrow, that's correct. But what I think today is also correct. Yeah. Very arrogant about our views. And sometimes our friends will come and try and correct our wrong views, you know, and try and have a Dharma discussion with us about our wrong views. But we remain very ignorant, very closed-minded, and hold on to our views. We won't let any new information in. Yeah, I'm right. I'm going to win this fight. Yeah. This sutra that I believe in is the best sutra of everything the Buddha taught. Everybody should follow this sutra and nothing else. Yeah. This meditation technique is the way everybody should meditate. They just don't know. Yeah. They're so ignorant. Everybody should practice meditation exactly like this. Very close-minded. Yeah, whereas the Buddha taught all these different methods because people are different. Buddha gave many different teachings and different sutras. Why? Because people are different. If there was only the need for, if one sutra were the only right one that you needed to follow, then why did the Buddha teach many sutras for 45 years? If there's only one correct way to meditate, why did the Buddha give all these different teachings? Okay. The Buddha's an incredibly skillful teacher that teaches a wide variety of things because he sees that people have different inclinations, different dispositions. So what's suitable for one person may not fit with another person, but that doesn't mean it's wrong and bad. Okay? So it's very important as Buddhists that we be extremely tolerant and respectful of other Buddhist traditions. Yeah. Of course, if somebody is teaching something that is very clearly contradictory to the Buddha, you know, like teaching you methods to increase your arrogance and to increase your anger and to increase your greed, then no, those aren't the Buddhist teachings, okay? But aside from that, you know, the Buddha was very skillful, and all, you know, in the different traditions, the teachings all come from the Buddha. So it's important to have an open mind. And, you know, one approach to the Dharma may be suitable for us, but it may not be suitable for somebody else. And another approach might be suitable for somebody else, but it may not ring a bell in us. But isn't that wonderful that the Buddha taught so many different things so that everybody could find something that fit them? Okay? The Dharma is like having a big feast at a big buffet. Yeah? So at a big buffet, there's many things you can choose from. So if you like to eat noodles, there's noodles. Somebody else wants rice. Somebody else wants sweet potatoes. Somebody else wants something else. So there's all different kinds of food because people have, they taste things different, and people's bodies are nourished by different kinds of food. So we respect that there's all one food. We don't say everybody has to eat everything I like and nothing else, do we? And anyway, that wouldn't work. So, very important to be open-minded. And also towards other religions, to be open-minded and to see the good in other religions. And Buddhism may be the best religion for us, but maybe it's not suitable for somebody else. And the religion that they're following is more suitable for them. So that's fine. If it helps that person be ethical, if it helps them be kind, that's good. Then later, when they're ready, they may be more interested in Buddhism and want to learn. And then we can teach them. Yeah? But we don't go standing on the street corner, saying, everybody become a Buddhist. And if you don't, you're going to be born in hell. That doesn't work at all, does it? And Buddha never taught like that. Buddha said, here's the teaching, you think about it. You examine it. You're intelligent, you examine it. You see if it works, you see if it makes sense logically. You decide. The Buddha never threatened us with bad results if we didn't follow him. Okay? So, we don't threaten other people. We don't force things on other people. On the other hand, we don't have to remain shy about being Buddhist either. Yeah, we're Buddhist. People ask, we tell them. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Okay, this one's about the chains of miserliness. Binding embodied beings in the unbearable prison of cyclic existence with no freedom, it locks them in craving's tight embrace. The chain of miserliness, please protect us from this danger. So again, we're calling out to Tara. So first we see the disadvantage of miserliness. It binds embodied beings in the unbearable prison of cyclic existence with no freedom. That's a pretty severe disadvantage, isn't it? Okay. So miserliness is stinginess. It's the inability to share what we have, the inability to give to others, the inability to be generous. It's the mind that has a lot of fear and insecurity and says, I've got to hold on to this, I can't share it. Yeah? You know that mind? I know that mind very well. Yeah. When I lived in India many years ago, I was extremely poor. I didn't have very much. But I wasn't as poor as the beggars. And when I would walk down to the bazaar to do shopping, there would be some beggars on the road. And they would be asking for, in those days it was 25 paise, now it might be about 4 rupees, for a cup of tea. And I was so miserly because I didn't have very much money and I was so afraid of being poor that it was like I didn't want to give them enough for a cup of tea. What kind of mind is that you can't give somebody a cup of tea? That's a mind chained, isn't it? That miserliness chains us to samsara. Yeah, can't even give a cup of tea because there's so much fear. The mind feels so poor. If I give this, I may not have it, so I've got to cling on to this at all costs. And so at the same time I was having this incredible stinginess and miserliness, walking past these beggars, it was right after hearing, Dharma talks from my teacher, and my teacher's teaching about generosity, and the benefits of generosity. And I'm walking down the hill trying to not look at the beggars so I could pretend that I'm not so miserly. And at the same time, my teacher's words are ringing in my ears. And I was having to go, okay, children, come on, you can give them enough money for a cup of tea, And I really had to talk myself into it. Think of all the virtue you'll accumulate giving them a cup of tea. Yeah. I mean, that's how I had to deal with my miserliness. It was awful. Yeah. I should tell you my maroon cashmere sweater story. Yeah. There's another one about miserliness. I'll take my glasses off for this one. Okay, so if you're a nun, it's sometimes difficult finding maroon sweaters and jackets because maroon isn't always the color of choice when you go to the department stores and you need a sweater. So it's hard to get things in maroon. And I was in Japan one year, this was many years ago, and the people there, they gave me a maroon sweater that was cashmere. Cashmere is so soft. And I didn't ask for it or anything. They just, out of the goodness of their hearts, gave me this maroon cashmere sweater. So I was really attached to this sweater. So the next year, or a few years after that, I was going to, I did a teaching tour in the former Soviet states. This was before the fall of the Iron Curtain. And so one of the places that we were stopping was in Kiev. And I was traveling with the translator. We were on our way to Donetsk, which was also in the Ukraine, and we were stopping in Kiev for the day and staying with the friend of my translator, who was a young woman named Sasha. So, we arrived unexpected and uninvited, and we're spending the day with her. And Sasha is very poor, and this was in, what year was it? Maybe 94? It was in the early or mid-90s. She was very poor. She didn't have much, but we were guests. So she pulled out all of the special food that she had been saving, and shared it with us because we were guests, even though she didn't have very much. Okay, so this went on all day. And then she took us to the train station, as it was getting towards evening. And riding on the subway, the thought popped into my mind, I should give my maroon cashmere sweater to Sasha. Yeah, because we're about the same size. And as soon as that idea came up in my mind, another mind said, no, absolutely not. You are not giving away this maroon cashmere sweater. No. But then the idea came again. Oh, but it's such a pretty sweater. Sasha would really like it. No. But it's only a sweater. Give it to her. Absolutely not. You need this sweater. So here we are on the subway going to the train station. I have a civil war going on inside of me. It's a complete civil war between, am I going to give Sasha this sweater or not? We arrive at the train station. Sasha excuses herself for a minute. She comes back a few minutes later with sweetbread so that we would have sweetbread for our trip. Sasha doesn't have it. She hardly has any money. She goes and buys us sweetbread. So come on, give Sasha your sweater. Look how kind she is to you. You can't give her your sweater. You might need it. Come on, give her your sweater. It's no big deal. No, I'm not going to give her the sweater. So then we head towards the platform and we get on the train. And it's like, okay, give her the sweater. You got to take it, take it out of your suitcase and give it to her. There's very few minutes before the train leaves. No, if you bend down and you open the suitcase, the train will start to move and you won't be able to get it out anyway, so don't even try. Come on, give Sasha the sweater, pull it out of the suitcase. No, if you try and give it to her, the train will move and she'll jump off and she'll get killed under the tracks. You can't give her the sweater. So, really, my mind was horrible. Yeah, so miserly, so miserly. So finally, I just got up all my courage. I pulled the suitcase out from under the seat, dug out the sweater and gave it to Sasha. And her face lit up. It was just amazing. Her face just was like, as if I had given her $1 million. And I thought, wow, what took me so long to bring such joy over by giving some simple material possession, that I can easily replace. What took me so long to give such happiness to somebody else? So we went off to Donetsk. I taught there for a week, came back to Kiev. Sasha met us at the railway station. The weather had changed in that week and it was quite warm, but she was still wearing the maroon cashmere sweater when she came to greet us. She was so happy to have that. Yeah? So you can see, when our heart is bound with miserliness, it really is like a chain binding us to cyclic existence. We can't share the simplest thing because there's a mind of poverty that says, if I give it, I won't have it. Yeah? So we save every single box. We save every single t-shirt. Yeah? Our cupboards are filled with stuff. And yet we can't give any of it away because one day I might decide to wear that again. I haven't worn it for 5 years, but one day I might want to, so I can't give it away. And there's 30 pairs of shoes there. I have 2 feet, but 30 pairs of shoes. I'm almost in competition with Imelda Marcos. Yeah, but I can't give any of my shoes away to people who don't have any shoes. Yeah, it's amazing what miserliness can do for us. Yeah. Or do against us, I should say. Yeah. So, the antidote to miserliness, what is it? Generosity. Okay. Just give. And then take delight in giving. And generosity is the first practice the Buddha taught us, isn't it? Yeah? Generosity, ethical conduct, meditation. And all religions, even people who don't believe in any religion, every living being appreciates generosity and knows the value of generosity. Yeah? So it's something to practice ourselves and something to teach to the younger generation. Yeah? Teach the children to take joy in sharing. Teach your kids to save up money and give it to a charity. Teach your kids to make things and then take them to an orphanage or to a hospital and give them. Teach your kids by modeling it yourself of how to give your time and your energy for good causes. Yeah? And then your own heart feels happier. Next one is the flood of attachment. Sweeping us in the torrent of cyclic existence so hard to cross, where, conditioned by the propelling winds of karma, we are tossed in the waves of birth, aging, sickness, and death. The flood of attachment please protect us from this danger. So in the Four Noble Truths, craving, attachment is often pointed out, as the cause of dukkha. Yeah, because when it's in our mind, when we have craving and attachment and clinging, yeah, we are swept in the torrent of cyclic existence, so hard to cross. It's just, this is very much the symbolism of water and waves and, the force of the water element. You're swept by the current of cyclic existence. You're swept by affliction, swept by karma. Yeah. You're drowning. You have no control. Yeah, it's like crossing, trying to cross the rapids. No control. Yeah. And so you're caught in the torrent of cyclic existence, so hard to cross. We're conditioned by the propelling winds of karma. So you're not only fighting, attachment and craving and the other afflictions, but you're confined by karma, by our past actions. Yeah. We're tossed in the waves of birth, aging, sickness, and death. So imagine, here's this person, here's this rapids, incredible ocean of turbulent water with, white water rapids going on all over the place. And if you can get to the other side, you can live peacefully. So you're trying to cross this rapids. You're completely caught up in the torrent of the water. The wind of karma is blowing all around you. Yeah, the waves of birth, aging, sickness, and death are going up and down, and all you're trying to do is go across the water. Yeah. So it's like in our lives, we're trying to reach the other shore of nirvana. The waves of birth, aging, sickness, and death, tossing us around. The winds of karma blowing. Yeah, and we're caught in this flood of craving and attachment. Yeah. And we can really see this in our lives. We try and do Dharma practice, and what keeps us from doing Dharma practice? Yeah, attachment, isn't it? Yeah. It's Saturday. I want to sleep late. I don't want to get up early and go to the Dharma Center. I don't want... it's the weekdays. I have to get up early to go to work, but I don't feel like getting up even 15 minutes earlier to do my Dharma practice. It's attachment, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, the Dharma's good, but the Dharma Center's so far away. I have to drive a half an hour to get to the Dharma Center. Yeah, I don't want to drive a half an hour in traffic. I'd much rather stay home and, surf the internet. Yeah? And exercise my thumbs. And confine my reality to 2 by 4 inches. We become intoxicated by screens, mesmerized by screens, okay? So the craving, the attachment, then we look at the ads, buy this, get that, and we go, oh yeah, I want that. I want those clothes, I want that jewelry, I want to go there on vacation, I want to have this and that and the other thing, and even, I want to have proper meditation clothes. I want to have a really nice meditation cushion. Absolutely most comfortable meditation cushion. Yeah. Yeah. And I got to wear certain clothes to the Dharma class because there's this really good-looking guy. And I know we aren't supposed to flirt, but what the heck. Yeah? So the mind completely filled with craving and attachment. And, so there's no space for Dharma in there. No space for the Dharma. Mm-hmm. So are the antidotes to craving and attachment? What do we meditate on? Come on, you should know this. Letting go, okay. But what in specifically? What do you meditate? What are the three characteristics? What's the first characteristic of phenomena? Impermanence, isn't it? Anicca, isn't it? Impermanence. All conditioned things are impermanent. They're transient. They don't last long. What's the second characteristic? Dukkha. They're all in the nature of being unsatisfactory. Third characteristic, not self, anatta. Yeah. There's no independent I and mine. Okay. So when we have attachment and craving, first line of defense, contemplate impermanence. Remember how whatever you're clinging onto is not going to last long. Yeah. It's not going to last long. It's going to be there and it's going to disappear. It's going to decay. So there's no use clinging onto it with attachment. One time, I was going into Coeur d'Alene, it's a nearby town, to give a Dharma talk. So I was with another nun, and then there was a young girl. She was maybe 15 or 16, and she came with us. And we were having a picnic in the park before we went to the Dharma talk. So, she's 15, 16, so there's some boys playing basketball. So she's like, glued to watching these guys. And I said to her, yeah, they're all pretty attractive when they're teenagers, aren't they? I said, and imagine what they're going to look like when they're 80 years old. She went. I said, well, they're gonna, if they live that long, they're going to be 80 years old. How are they going to look when they're 80? Are they going to be so good looking? Okay? So, contemplating impermanence, the fact that things change, it cuts the attachment. It cuts the craving. Your second characteristic, dukkha, things are unsatisfactory by nature. They lack the ability to bring us ultimate happiness. So one thing that I do when there's a lot of craving and attachment in my mind is whatever I'm craving and attached to, whether it's an object or money or approval or reputation or a person or whatever it is, I'll sit there and I'll make up this incredible scene that I get it. Yeah? Whatever it is I'm attached to, I get it, and there it is, and I have it. And, oh, this is so good, I have it. And then I ask myself, now, are you going to be everlastingly happy? What do you think? There's the $1 million you always wanted. Are you going to be happy forever now with that? You're going, yes, yes. But think about it. Is $1 million going to bring you lasting happiness? No, you're going to have to separate from it. Either the stock market goes down, or you die, or something happens. And also, when you have $1 million, or 2 million ringgit, or whatever it is, then you're going to also have a lot of false friends. And a lot of relatives you didn't know you had. Who are all coming to borrow money, because you have so much of it. Yeah, is that money really going to make you happy? Yeah. So it can be very interesting. You know, you imagine getting whatever it is you're craving. Now, finally, I won the award. And then you say, then? Am I really going to be everlastingly happy because I won this award? No. It feels good for a few minutes, and then I'm back to normal with my craving, dissatisfied mind. Yeah. So we always think that our suffering is not getting what we want, but the actual suffering is the craving that is always wanting, never satisfied. I want, I need, I have to have. And as long as there's that mind, we're never going to have peace inside. Yeah. Because we're always going to feel I lack something. I need something outside of myself to fill up the feeling of emptiness inside of myself. But no external thing can ever fill us up completely. Yeah. Only freeing our mind from afflictions, only realizing the truth has the ability to free us. Yeah. Everything else is, just kind of a Band-Aid that makes us feel better for a few minutes. Okay? So we meditate on impermanence. We meditate on that all conditioned things are the nature of being unsatisfactory. And when we have a good solid meditation on that, then our craving and our attachment goes down, and our mind becomes much more content, much more easily satisfied. Instead of having to have this, that, and the other thing, it's whatever I have is good enough. Instead of, but I want this beautiful blanket. Whatever blanket I have is good enough. But I want this certain kind of car. Riding the bus is okay. You learn to appreciate what you have and to be content with what you have. And that is real freedom. Whereas the mind of craving, there's no freedom in that mind. There's no satisfaction or joy in that mind. Okay, so the antidotes, meditate on impermanence and the nature of unsatisfactoriness. The first two characteristics. Okay, then the last verse here. Roaming in the space of darkest confusion, tormenting those who strive for ultimate aims. It is viciously lethal to liberation. The carnivorous demon of doubt, please protect us from this danger. Okay, so doubt is like a carnivorous demon. Carnivorous demon eats you alive. Yeah, it's a carnivore, it eats you alive. Yeah, fearful, monstrous demon eating you alive. And that's exactly what doubt does to our Dharma practice. And here when we're talking about doubt, we're talking about afflictive doubt that is inclined towards the wrong conclusion. We're not talking about curiosity. We're not talking about having questions. We're talking about the kind of doubt that is either filled with skepticism, the mind that says, I don't know if I believe in rebirth, make me believe in it. Yeah. I don't know if I believe in karma. Yeah, make me believe in it. It's a kind of obstinate mind that is full of doubt that says, I'm not going to believe this. And it's your responsibility to, remove my doubt. It's not other people's responsibility to remove our doubt. It's our responsibility to see that we have doubt and to clarify things. Yeah. So doubt manifests in some very interesting ways, and it can really make us spin. And the way it says here, roaming in the space of darkest confusion. So our mind's confused. tormenting those who strive for ultimate aims. So we want to attain liberation, but our doubts torment us. Yeah. Did the Buddha teach the real path to liberation? Is that actually the path to liberation or not? Yeah. Is this really the method to attain shamatha? Is there really no self? I think there is a self. Maybe there's even a permanent, independent God. Yeah. We're filled with doubt. Yeah. And so those kind of doubts just destroy our Dharma practice. Because we can't move forward, because we can't gain the correct view. We can't adopt the Buddhist worldview because we're so caught in our uncertainty. Yeah. Does karma exist or not? I think it doesn't. Yeah. Is there really virtue? I'm not so sure. Yeah. Is it really true that there's no self? But I feel so real. Yeah. Okay, so we doubt our own ability. We doubt that the path is possible to practice. We doubt what we're taught as the path. We doubt that it's even possible to attain enlightenment. We go, is it really possible to eliminate afflictions? Maybe everything the Buddha made up is a fairy tale. Maybe the Buddha didn't really exist. How do I know the Buddha exists? Yeah, and we get so caught up in our doubts that we can't do anything. And so they say doubt is like trying to sew with a needle that has 2 points. Yeah. You need to sew something, but your needle has 2 points. Can you sew? You can't. You can't move this way, and you can't move the other way, and you can't do anything with a 2-pointed needle. So it's similar, to doubt. We can't move in our practice. We're paralyzed. So we waste a lot of time and a lot of energy. Okay. So what's the antidote to doubt? Well, one antidote is study and learning. Yeah. Because if we learn the sutras, we learn the commentaries, we listen to wise teachers, we ask questions, then very often our doubts will get settled. And, if we think about teachings, so we have to learn the Dharma, we have to think about it. If we think deeply about things, it'll clarify for us what we believe and what we don't, what the view is and what the view isn't. Okay? So we have to exert some effort to learn, to think. Mm-hmm. And then when our mind gets kind of skeptical and caught in this rather cynical skepticism, then we just have to plain old tell our mind to be quiet. Yeah. Do you know that flavor of when your mind gets cynical and skeptical, like, I don't know if Buddhism really works, I don't know. Yeah, this kind of mood. And then you have to just really see it for what it is. Oh, that's cynicism. Cynicism is, a deep form of doubt. Having that mind is not going to help me. Yeah. Just saying no to everything. Every time somebody tries to explain a Dharma point to me, saying no, or saying yes, but. Yeah, the yes, but mind? Yes. I ask a question. Somebody gives an answer. We say, yes, but. We ask somebody for advice. They give us this advice. Yes, but. So we have to just recognize when our mind's doing that and saying, that's not going to get me anywhere. It's better if I put my energy into study and thinking. Clarify my doubts. Then I can move forward in practice. Okay, so with all these verses, like I said at the beginning of the day, it's really good, read them every day or read them once a week. think about the disadvantages of the afflictions, and then train your mind to have vigilance or clear comprehension, so you can notice the different afflicted mental states, and then learn the antidotes and apply the antidotes. And that's how Tara helps us, is by teaching us the antidotes, by inspiring our mind with confidence to practice the antidotes. So you can call out to Tara, please protect me from this danger. And then, remember what the antidotes are and practice them. Okay? So, questions, comments? This is your chance. Yeah.
The last words about Tao.
Uh-huh.
How do you differentiate between the healthy examining type of Tao that the Buddha encouraged
Okay.
versus the one?
So how do you differentiate between the healthy investigation that the Buddha encouraged and doubt? Okay. Healthy investigation is like eager and curious. It's like, okay, here's this teaching. I never thought of things like that. How does this work? How does this relate to my life? It doesn't really make sense according to my experience and my observations. So there's a sense of eagerness and curiosity with investigation. With doubt, there's this sense of, I don't believe anyway. Why should I bother? It's so confusing. My mind's so full of doubts. I don't trust anybody. I don't trust anything. I don't want to do anything. Yeah, there's a real kind of bleh feeling in the mind when there's doubt. Whereas the investigation is like, never thought of things like that. How does that work? Okay. Other questions or comments? Yeah.
I'd like to check on it.
Uh-huh.
Antidote to attachment. The first one is meditate on impermanence.
Uh-huh.
The second is dukkha.
Uh-huh.
It means they are in the nature of everything is unsatisfactory.
Yeah.
The last one is no self.
Yeah.
Anatta.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Other questions, comments? This is your chance. Okay. Then, yeah.
Regarding with this stingy or miscellaneous,
The,
stingy or this miscellaneous,
I can't hear you.
miscellaneous.
Miserliness.
So there will be quite a number of level to achieve.
Ah, thank you.
Okay. There will be quite a number, several levels to be achieved. This generosity.
Mm-hmm.
Just example, if the baker comes, somebody may give 20 cents.
Mm-hmm.
Just want to chase away the baker.
Yeah.
Some could be give 10 ringgit or higher amount of money.
Mm-hmm.
So how to achieve to have a greater generosity in terms of this certain situation.
Okay, so how do we increase our generosity? Yeah, and be reasonable at the same time. The main element in generosity is the wish to give. Yeah, it's not how much you give, it's the wish to give. Yeah, so the generous mind wants to give, We may or may not have the things to give. We may have a lot to give. We may not have a lot to give. So it's not the amount, but it's the wish. It's the freedom of heart that takes delight in sharing and giving. That's what generosity is. Okay? So it doesn't mean you have to give everything away. Yeah. But it does mean that we train our mind to take delight in giving. Yeah? And so we try and give with a pure motivation. So it's not just, okay, I give you a little bit, so leave me alone already. Yeah, that's not generosity, is it? Yeah. And also generosity isn't feeling guilt-ridden that, you receive 20 things in the mail about different charities, and all of them want you to give, and my goodness, I can't give to all 20 charities. Yeah, what do I do? It's the wish to give. And so you may decide, okay, I have this much that's a reasonable amount, I'll divide it between the 20. Or you may say, I wish all of the charities really well with what they're doing, but I'm going to choose to give most of my resources here to this particular one, because this one really, grabs me and I think is really important. Yeah. So it's really the mind that wishes to give. That's the important thing. Yeah, and you don't have to be rich to be generous. Sometimes, in fact, people who don't have very much have a much more generous feeling because they know what it's like not to have, so they want to share with other people who don't have. Whereas sometimes people who are quite wealthy are very miserly because, there's this thing of, if I give it away, I won't have it, and then I might be poor, and their mind concocts all kinds of worries. As a result, they can't really even enjoy what they have, let alone share it.